Smart, did you get my last email?
I did.
Okay,
I wasn't sure what we were doing with that, though. I got one email that said that we had an add-on. I got another email that said we didn't.
well, I was just giving you a briefing on what was going on.
Okay, so do we have an add-on or not?
That's a good question. I guess we'll find out if the jail bring them out or not.
Okay, thank you. Hey, courtroom crew, we're ready to proceed whenever you all are.
We have position number 10, Ms. Myers, before you.
Good afternoon, Ms. Myers. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the state court expedited accusation calendar that we're conducting by video to help prevent the spread of the virus. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes.
Thank you. Ms. Myers, you've been charged in case 23 CR 004985J with battery, family violence, and willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer. Is there a history, Mr. Howard? You with me, Mr. Howard?
Sorry, first adult arrest.
Okay. Good afternoon, Ms. Hudak.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Your Honor, this incident occurred on 8/13 of 2023. On that date, officers responded to 3100 Godby Road in College Park. Both parties there, this victim being Ronaldo Weeks, told officers they were in a verbal dispute about the defendant trying to illegally kick out the victim from the apartment. The verbal dispute escalated when the defendant used an unknown striking stick to hit the victim in his right eye. Officers observed his eye to have visible swelling and bruising. The parties do live in the same household and have a child together. As officers attempted to take the defendant into custody, she resisted arrest by moving her hands multiple times, preventing the officers from placing handcuffs on her wrists. Your Honor, I would ask at the appropriate time you sound for the victim. We were unable to contact him. We are requesting a $3,500 surety bond, $3,000 on the battery, $500 on the obstruction. Stay away from the address located at Godby Road. No further contact with Ronaldo Weeks, and 1 day anger awareness. Thank you.
Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor. My client is only 22 years old, Your Honor, and she is currently working at post office. She's been working there for about 2 years, so she will not be qualified for a public defender services, and I will be representing her only for the purpose of bond hearing. And Your Honor, she is currently 2 months pregnant, and she would like to, she's actually missing out her prenatal appointment as of now. And she really needs to get out of the jail to take care of her health. And we would like to request for signature on bond. This is her first arrest ever. And Your Honor, we have no objection to stay away nor no further contact either. She has relatives here in Georgia, so she will be able to take care of herself. Thank you.
If Mr. Ronaldo Weeks is on the line and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so.
Hey, what's up?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Mr. Weeks. If you would like to address the court, I'll need for you to raise your right hand for me. Do you swear from the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you can put your hand down. What would you like to tell the court?
I would like to tell the court that when the lady had said that she hit me with the stick in my right eye, she didn't hit me with the stick in my right eye because my eye is not bruised. All I called the police was for the police to escort me out the house so we won't keep arguing and fighting. So she didn't know what was going on. She was so upset. I was telling the officer to talk to me first so she can calm down, and he kept trying to approach her, which she was upset because she didn't get time to breathe or calm down. So she started resisting, and he arrested her from that. And I told him I don't want to press charges from her because I needed her. And it went on from there.
Okay, anything further?
Yes, Your Honor. Actually, the place, incident location is her apartment, and her name is the only name that is on the lease.
So what are you asking me for, Ms. Kim?
No further violent contact would be the best scenario for this case.
It's going to be for the battery, family violence, a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial. For the willful obstruction, $1,000 signature bond through pretrial, both per the judge. Total of a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial. 1 day anger awareness. I don't think that they need to have contact at this point in time, especially given her condition. So it's going to be a no further contact with Mr. Weeks. Stay away from the Godby Road address. She can go back to that address on one occasion with law enforcement to retrieve any belongings that she might have there. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond.
Your Honor, if he moves out, can she return home since this is her place? After first to get her personal belongings, maybe about 2 weeks later, she can go back to verify that if Mr. Ronaldo Weeks is not there, then I would like her to return home.
If Mr. Weeks removes himself from the Godby Road apartment, then of course she can go back there. But if he is there, she necessarily can't be there as there's no further contact at this point in time. Good luck to you both. Who do we have next?
Position number 19, Vaughn.
Good afternoon, Ms. Vaughn. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the state court expedited accusation calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes.
Thank you. Ms. Vaughn, you've been charged in case 23 CR 004990G with battery. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
Second arrest, 2022 battery, cruelty in the third. That's in Gwinnett County.
Afternoon, Ms. Bickerstaff.
Good afternoon, Judge Morrow. This incident occurred July 6th of this year, and it occurred at 2265 Rugby Terrace. And this is where Miss Carla Bynum told officers that she was over her friend Larry's house for a gathering when she was attacked by the defendant. Ms. Bynum stated that everything was all good. Everyone was laughing and talking at the gathering. And then out of nowhere, she was punched by the defendant, causing her to have bruising on her arm. Officers also noted a bite mark on Ms. Bynum. When officers spoke to Mr. Larry, whose house the gathering was at, he told officers that he didn't know how the altercation happened, but he confirmed that Ms. Bynum was bit and that she went to the hospital because of that bite, because she was bit. Another witness who was at the location, his name is Mr. Quentin, he talked to officers and he stated that Ms. Bynum said something to Mr. Larry, and the defendant asked Ms. Bynum, what did she say? And then she punched the defendant, Your Honor. Officer spoke to the defendant. She admitted that there was a fight that night and that she had a few drinks that night. Like pretrial said that the defendant has an open case in Gwinnett County. I wasn't able to get Gwinnett County on the phone to see who the victim was, but considering that this is another Bynum, she has a battery charge and that she has a current pending battery charge, the state's recommendation is a $5,000 surety bond. We're asking for a 1-day anger awareness course, no further contact with Miss Carla Bynum, to stay away from 2265 Rugby Terrace, as well as no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond. And if Ms. Bynum is on Zoom, I would like to sound for her.
Ms. Bynum, if you're with us this afternoon, now is your opportunity to address the court if you choose to do so. Doesn't appear so, Ms. Bickerstaff. Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor. My client is 25 years old, Your Honor, and actually, she has been extorted and harassed by a complaining witness who has been continuously demanding the money for this charge. So there is some impure motivation by Ms. Carla Bynum, who wants to use this as some way to get the money out of my client. My client was born in North Carolina, and she moved here about 3 years ago for her medical treatment, which is very, very chronic and serious disease that I cannot disclose exactly what it is, and yet it is very serious chronic. I'll be happy to chat. Your Honor, she graduated from college. She has a business and finance, a bachelor's degree, and she cannot work as of now because of her treatment. She is, and also her parents are unemployed as well, so she has no means to pay for any kind of bonds. She's qualified for public defender services, and we would like to request for signature on bond. And if Your Honor is not inclined to give her a signature on bond because of a case in Gwinnett County, we would like to request for a maximum $1,000 surety bond. Right now, there is already $3,000 good bond set by the magistrate court judge, and I don't think it should go up to $6,000 at all. Thank you.
It's going to be $3,000 signature bond through pretrial per the judge, 1-day anger awareness, no further contact with Carla Bynum, stay away from the Rugby Terrace address, no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Ms. Vaughn.
Thank
Your
you.
Honor, may you repeat the bond amount?
$3,000 signature bond through pretrial per the judge.
Thank you.
Who do we have next?
Position 3.
And this is Mr. Everson.
It is.
All right, good afternoon, Mr. Everson. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the state court expedited accusation calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Sir,
Was that a yes? I'm sorry.
yes, sir. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mr. Everson. You've been charged in case 23 CR 004976E with criminal trespass and damage to property and willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
12 total. He got a lot of CWAC issues going on. Appears to have an open burglary out of Forest Park. 2015 disorderly conduct conviction, 2014 obstruction conviction. And he got a couple of open CWAC charges. That's it.
Yes, Ms. Hudak.
Thank you, Your Honor. This event just occurred yesterday. Officers were called to 1565 Laurel Park Place, Southwest Atlanta. The caller stated that a man who was later identified as the defendant was kicking on her door, trying to enter her home. The door was damaged and the suspect had left the location. The caller, who was later identified as the victim in this case, Ms. Sharday Williams, gave a description of the male. Officers came upon the male matching the description and walking in the direction the caller said he went. He was ultimately identified and was determined to have several warrants out for him. He ran away when officers attempted to detain him. We would also like to note the incident in the front door was captured on Ms. Wilson's house camera, her Ring camera. We were able to speak to the victim. We would ask that you sound for her at the appropriate time. She did share with us that there was a prior incident of violence between the parties on July 27th, and she is concerned about his violent behavior towards her. We are asking for a $3,000 surety bond, $1,500 on each count. Stay away from the address at 1565 Laurel Park Place. No further contact with Sharday Wilson, 1 day anger awareness, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons.
If Ms. Sharday Williams is on the line and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. Doesn't appear so. Good afternoon, Mr. Ford.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Your Honor, my client is 32 years old. He is a high school graduate from a high school in Ohio. He is a freelance barber and also works in concessions for State Farm Marine. And the reason I state this is because he does have 3 daughters, 1, 15, 10, and 6, that he does provide financial support for. He's been a resident of Georgia for over five years, and he does have community support. He did give me the telephone number of a friend that does live here in Georgia. He has a stable address, Your Honor. He understands he needs to come back and deal with these charges. He has some other issues that are out there. We're asking for a signature bond at this time, Your Honor, so my client could be released so he could go over and deal with the issues in the other jurisdiction. And he definitely will be coming back each and every time for court because he does have a home here, children here, and also community support. So, Your Honor, at this time, and a job that he needs to get back to because as a freelance barber, you know, he has a clientele that he's established here in Georgia, and he needs to get there, and so he can attend to their needs. So, Your Honor, we're asking for a signature bond at this time so my client can be released to deal with the other charges in the other jurisdiction.
It's going to be a $500 good bond per charge, makes for a total of $1,000 good bond. No further contact with Ms. Sharday Williams. Stay away from the Laurel Park Place address. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Everson. We have next.
Position 8, Lewis.
Good afternoon, Mr. Lewis. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Lewis, you've been charged in case 23 CR 004986Y with battery family violence. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
First arrest.
Ms. Hudak?
Thank you, Your Honor. This event did occur on July 9th of 2023. On that date, officers responded to a dispute call at 450 Piedmont Road in Northeast Atlanta. Officers arrived there, spoke to the victim, Miss Junice, Junice Clark, who is the wife of the accused. She told them that the defendant did not come home until 6 o'clock that morning, and she verbally confronted him about that. The verbal altercation escalated when the defendant began to throw her belongings around the room. Thereafter, he began to push and shove her. She ran downstairs and out of the house. The defendant locked all the doors behind her before leaving his phone because he had taken her phone. She attempted to get back in the house because she needed her phone. The defendant was at the door and began to choke her outside of the door. He forced her onto the stairs of the house, choked her some more, and slapped her in the face. He then walked to the second floor. She approached him again because he still had her cell phone. She said the defendant pulled her up the stairs and said that he was going to call her mother. He left the scene and her phone when she said she was going to call the police. The victim did have a small laceration on the inside of her lip that was observed by officers. Your Honor, we are asking for a $5,000 surety bond, no further contact with Ms. Clark, and a stay away order from the Piedmont Avenue address. Thank you.
Mr. Ford?
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, my client is 26 years old. He's a high school graduate, also has his CDL where he's working at the Ascend Transport Company. He's been there for over 6 months as a truck driver. He's been in Georgia his entire life, Your Honor. He has stable address here. He's given me the number and name of his brother as a contact person, so he does have community support. He's also, Your Honor, I spoke with the alleged victim in this matter who should be in the courtroom, Your Honor, because she had called and said that she was going to the Rice Street location so she can make a statement on behalf of Mr. Lewis. She once contacted Mr. Lewis. She felt that things were not portrayed properly. She did not want to have charges pressed as well. And as has been read, Your Honor, this is my client's first offense, Your Honor, that he's been charged with, and he maintains his innocence in this particular situation. He feels that he was not the aggressor. He came home at a certain time and was met with aggression by the alleged victim. So at this point, Your Honor, we're asking for a signature bond due to the fact that my client does not have any prior record and he is not the aggressor in this matter, Your Honor. So we ask for a signature bond. And Miss Clark should be in the courtroom, Your Honor, somewhere.
Courtroom wishes to address the court. Now is her opportunity to do so. Can someone tell me if Ms. Clark is there?
Your Honor, I spoke with
Judge, let me let her in.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome.
Mr. Lewis, let him walk on, let him come on up.
Yes, good afternoon, Ms. Clark. Can you raise your right hand for me? Do you swear affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay, you can put your hand down. Thank you, ma'am. What would you like to tell the court?
It was just a misunderstanding. It happened for the first time, so we want to work past this. I don't want to press no charges. We just want to move on and just work on ourselves.
Has this happened before?
No,
Are you afraid of him?
no,
Okay. Anything further, ma'am?
no, like I said, we just want to move past this and I don't want to press charges.
Okay, well, the charges are not being dropped, but because this is just a bond hearing, but you can speak with the state as you go forward regarding that matter. Thank you, ma'am. We appreciate you being here this afternoon.
All right, well.
It's going to be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial per the judge, 1 day anger awareness, no further violent contact with Ms. Clark, no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Lewis.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
For the judge, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Next is number 5, position number 5.
Okay. This is Mr. Hash.
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon, Mr. Hash. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the state court expedited accusation calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Hash, you've been charged in case 23 CR 004978Y with simple battery family violence. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
Last arrest was 1997.
Okay. Ms. Hudak?
Thank you, Your Honor. This event did occur yesterday, 8/14/2023. Officers responded to 3509 Stone Road, Southwest Atlanta. Upon arrival, the defendant, Mr. Hash, said he got into a verbal argument with his daughter, who is the victim in this case, Gabrielle Hash. The victim said the argument was over the cost of groceries, which she paid for. She said she had not been paid back by the defendant and was confronting him when he slapped her on the cheek and put her in a headlock. Officers did not observe any physical marks on Ms. Hash. The defendant, Mr. Hash, admitted to slapping her, but said that he did not choke her, rather he was hugging her. Your Honor, the state is asking for a $1,000 surety bond, 1 day anger awareness, no further contact with Gabrielle Hash, stay away order from the address, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, and we would ask that you sound for the victim.
If Gabrielle Hash is on the line and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. Doesn't appear so. Mr. Ford?
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, my client is 53 years of age. He has a GED and also has some college at Virginia Tech and at a technical school, New River School in Virginia as well. He's an independent contractor. Your Honor has been doing production management work, also works as an audio engineer. He's been doing that work for over 20 years. He has over 20 years here in the state of Georgia. He does have one child that's 9 years old and 4 adult children. He has plenty of support here in the community, Your Honor. He is not at risk of flight. The matter of fact, the name of the person he gave me as his contact information was his nephew. And so he has plenty of support here. As you can tell by the facts that have been read by the solicitor's office, that my client was confronted. And so that means that there was someone who appeared to have done aggression toward him. As she had mentioned, he was trying to hug her. He was trying to maintain a civil situation with this incident. This is his daughter, Your Honor. It was just an act of just trying to protect himself and calm the situation down because of the confrontation that was set against him. Your Honor, we're going to ask for a signature bond in this matter and no further violent contact. Charges were not. This was his daughter, and he is the sole provider in this particular household. And Your Honor, we ask that a signature bond be granted. If not a signature bond, something, Your Honor, so he can make bonds, so he can go back to work. Because like I said, he is an independent contractor himself, and he has a number of assignments that he needs to take care of at this time. So we ask for a signature bond. If not a signature bond, Your Honor, something that would be reasonable, something $1,000 or less.
Has anyone spoken to Gabrielle Hash?
Your Honor, I did not get a chance to speak to Ms. Hash.
Ms. Hudak?
We did not, Your Honor. Our office did not.
Does Ms. Hash live?
Her address in the report is listed as the same address as Mr. Hash.
And is she? Anybody know?
You hear what he said because he broke up.
Judge, you broke up, yes.
Is she?
Okay. So
Question was, how old is your daughter?
she's 19.
Okay. It's going to be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial per the judge, 1-day anger awareness, no further violent contact with Gabrielle Hash, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Hash.
And next we have position add-on 1, Mr. Jones, and he has private counsel in the courtroom.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Marvin Arrington on behalf of Mr. Jones.
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Arrington.
We have worked out a plea agreement with the state, Your Honor, to reckless driving.
So Mr. Arrington, has the defendant filled out the paperwork so that I can send it to the litigation manager?
Yes, ma'am, we have it here, and we'll be able to provide the proof of insurance before 5 p.m. today or 5 p.m. tomorrow.
Ms. Lewis, I believe, has a question.
Excuse me, did y'all just say reckless driving?
Yes, ma'am.
That is correct.
Okay, I have a DUI.
Right, we are reducing the DUI.
Okay, so you're saying that you're amending it, but I'll have amended accusation and y'all doing a plea.
I just found out that this was an agreed to plea, so I will file the amended accusation right now. But Your Honor, we can't go forward with this until I have the paperwork anyway to present to Ms. Lewis. So if we could move along to another case until I have that paperwork.
So let's get the paperwork to Ms. Falk so she can look over it and get it to Ms. Lewis, and then we'll be able to take the plea.
Okay.
The jail can send the paperwork to me, Mr. Arrington. I just need
Okay.
it filled out and signed.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So the no insurance is going to be null pros. What's going to happen with the possession of the open alcohol container?
We offered a plea agreement on both counts to a fine. If he does not have it, the state is ready to proceed as the recommendation was sent to Mr. Arrington.
Okay, I'm not. Okay, as soon as you get the paperwork, Ms. Falk, let me know and we'll move forward. Let's
Thank
go on
you,
to
Your
the
Honor,
next.
and I
let's go-
apologize for the delay.
Okay,
Thank
you, Your Honor.
you're welcome.
Position six. Oh, I'm sorry.
And no insurance will be amended to no insurance on person.
Mr. Arrington, you can give me a call. I will put my number in the chat, but we need to move along.
Okay, unfortunately, my phone is in the car, so I don't.
They have a phone in the jail
All right.
for you to use, Mr.
Okay,
Arrington.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Position seven, King.
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. King. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the state court expedited accusation calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Mr. King, you've been charged in case 23 CR 004981H with simple battery family violence. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
6 total. Last arrest was out of Tennessee. 2020, suspended license, identity theft, attempted theft of property. 2019, failure to appear in disorderly conduct. That's it.
Ms. Huda?
Your Honor, I would note that we found 55 cycles in Georgia, but nevertheless, this incident did occur on 8/14/2023. Officers responded to 5700 Spence Street Circle, Southwest College Park. Upon arrival, officers determined that the defendant, Mr. Douglas King, spit on his brother, the victim, Bruce King, several times while trying to fight him. They do reside together at the current, at the residence at Spence Street. I would note that I believe Mr. Bruce King is on the call. And I know that he probably wants to address the court. We did talk to him. He indicated that Douglas King has only been living at the address for the past few weeks, that he and his other brothers that all reside at the address are very concerned about his brother's violence. And they do not want him back at the home. And in fact, he's in the process of getting a temporary order of protection. So the state is recommending a $2,500 surety bond, 1-day anger awareness, stay away from the address with a one-time law enforcement escort to get his belongings, no further contact with Bruce King, and we would ask that you sound for the victim, Your Honor.
See you there. If you would like to address the court, I'll need for you to unmute yourself and I need for you to, and I'll have to swear you in, okay?
Your Honor, I do see in the chat that he said at 2:06 his audio was not working, so I don't know if that status changed for him.
I'm not sure. I know that I can see that they're muted, but I'm not sure if they're gonna have.
I'm muted. This is Bruce King.
All right, Mr. King, good afternoon. Raise your right hand for me.
Yes, sir.
All right, do you swear affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you can lower your hand, Mr. King. What would you like to tell the court?
Yes, my brother Douglas, he had been violent all his life. This ain't the first time this done happened. He just a bad seed, and he just terrorized the whole family. He don't. My mother died June 10th, and he came from Hawaii. He was living in Hawaii. He lived all over because nobody wanted him because he's a demon. And he come on, my mother died, he just come to the house, he want to take her, he terrorizing all of us, Your Honor, and we are so scared of him.
Okay, and, so you don't want him back there, right?
No, we don't want him because we are scared of him. He's a Yeah, he's a menace to this to society, Your Honor. And I'm serious. He's a bad seed. I always have been like that all his life.
Okay, Mr. King. Thank you for being here, sir. We appreciate it. Mr. Ford?
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, my client is 61 years old. He has his GED, and Your Honor, my client is disabled, so I don't know. He has a disability. I don't know where this violent statement is coming from. He has 4 adult children. He's lived in off and on in Georgia 30 years. He just came back from Hawaii, Your Honor, and he's only been back for a month. So he's letting me know that this is some type of family collusion to get him away and keep him from his inheritance due to the fact that his mother has passed away. So, Your Honor, I'd like for you to understand that my client has only been in Georgia for the last month, and he's been back and forth from Georgia and Hawaii. He doesn't have the ability to do some of the things that have been stated. He doesn't have really a violent criminal history, Your Honor, as has been read by the officer from the pretrial. So at this point, Your Honor, we're asking for a signature bond. My client has no way to pay for getting out of jail. As you can see, the family doesn't seem to want to help him out as well. He has no income at this point. So I'd ask for a signature bond. He has no problem staying away from that address and having contact with his family if they did not want that to happen. So we're asking for a signature bond at this time, Your Honor.
It's going to be a $2,000. No further contact with Bruce King. Stay away from the 5700 Spence Street address. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. He can go back to Spence Street on one occasion with law enforcement to retrieve any belongings that he might have there.
What's that bond again? You went out.
You went out.
$2,000. I'm sorry, it's storming over here, so that might be an issue. It's a $2,000 good bond, one-time escort with officers to the Spence Street address to retrieve any belongings. No further contact with Mr. Bruce King. Okay, good luck to you, both of you, Mr. Kings. Who do we have next?
Position number 9.
Good afternoon, Mr. Maycock. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the state court expedited accusation calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir. How you doing?
I'm doing fine. Thank you, Mr. Maycock. You've been charged in case 23 CR 004987J with simple battery family violence. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
I got first arrest.
Yes, Ms. Bickerstaff.
Yes, Your Honor. So this incident occurred yesterday at 3455 Old Alabama Road. And this is where the defendant grabbed and restrained his wife, Miss Destiny Maycock. He was trying to get her keys. Our office was able to speak to Miss Maycock, and she let us know that her and the defendant have been together for 11 years and married for 4 years, and they have a child together. She also let us know, she confirmed the events in the warrant, but she let us know that she did not sustain any injuries, nor is she afraid of the defendant, and that she wants contact with the defendant. So given the defendant's criminal history or lack thereof, the state's recommendation is a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial services. We're asking for an FBIB course right now because there hasn't been a sufficient cooling off period. We're asking for no further contact with Ms. Maycock and to stay away from 3455. Actually, not 3455, to stay away from the address that they live at 2049 Lake Park Drive in Smyrna, Your Honor. We're also asking for no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond. And if Ms. Maycock is on Zoom, I'd like to sound for her.
is with us and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so.
Yes.
Yes, can you raise your right hand for me? Do you swear from the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay, you can put your hand down. What would you like to tell the court, ma'am?
We just had a misunderstanding and a dispute. I'm not afraid of him. I asked at the scene for him not to be arrested and no charges to be pressed, but they told me that it was picked up by the state. So I would like for him to be arrested and all charges to be dropped so that he can continue to have contact with his daughter.
Okay, you're not afraid of him, ma'am?
No.
And this has not happened before?
No.
Okay, anything further, Ms. Maycock?
No.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Mr. Ford, if it's okay with you, it's going to be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial per the judge, 1-day anger awareness, no further violent contact with Ms. Maycock, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Does that suit you?
That's fine, Your Honor.
All right, good luck to you both, Mr. Maycock and Ms. Maycock.
Position 11, Patterson.
Good afternoon, Mr. Patterson. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the state court expedited accusation calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Patterson, you've been charged in case 23 CR 004988E with theft by receiving stolen property. So your history.
Your Honor,
Yes.
before you continue, this would be Ms. Kim's case, and I think she may
Okay.
be in a breakout session. So if you could take maybe I think I have 2 more cases that are outstanding. Position 4 and position 1.
Do we have either position 4 or position 1 in courtroom 2?
Position 4 is in the courtroom, will stand by.
Okay, thank you. We'll be back to you, Mr. Patterson.
My apologies for the interruption, Your Honor.
Oh, you're fine. Thank you, Mr. Ford.
Swing chair.
Okay. Good afternoon, Mr. Ford. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the state court expedited accusation calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video? Is that a yes?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Ford. You've been charged in case 23 CR 004977Y with willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer, possession and use of drug-related objects, and giving false information to law enforcement. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
18 total. 2021 failure to appear. 2018 forgery. No, I'm sorry. 2019 shoplifting NOLO. 2018 shoplifting conviction. And a 2018 forgery conviction. That's it.
Yes, Ms. Huda.
Thank you, Your Honor. This incident did occur yesterday on 8/14. Officers were on patrol. They received word from dispatch about a stolen car. The officers observed the car parked outside 987 Ashby Circle Northwest in the city of Atlanta. A female was in the driver's seat, and the male, later identified as Mr. Ford, was standing alongside the vehicle speaking to her. Officers approached the pair and asked questions about the vehicle, which the female was unable to answer satisfactorily, and the accused said he didn't know anything about it. Officers asked both individuals for their names and date of births. Defendant gave the name Keith Johnson with a date of birth of February 13th, 1965. Officers ran that name. They did not find any record of that name and date of birth. The defendant ultimately admitted that his real name was Glenn Ford and he had an active probation warrant. He was taken into custody. Search incident to arrest revealed a knife and 2 drug pipes in a bag. Your Honor, he is being held without bond for that probation violation at PV 23001329. We are recommending a $3,000 surety bond, $1,000 on each count, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons.
I'm sorry, you might have said it and I just missed it. Can you tell me why they were in a vehicle. Why were they pulled over?
They were not pulled over. The car had stopped on its own volition. And so a female driver was sitting in the driver's seat. He was standing next to the vehicle talking to her. So they knew this car was stolen. They saw it parked. They approached the pair.
Okay, all right. And she was charged with, was she charged?
To my knowledge, she was not charged. And really the troubles began when they ran both of them through the system, and it was a false name that he gave officers and date of birth.
Okay, well, but if it was a stolen car that prompted the questioning, I would imagine that it still remains stolen. And if she were the driver of that vehicle, I don't understand why they didn't charge. I mean, go ahead.
And so I'm not going to say they did or did not charge her. She was not named in the incident report that I was able to review this morning. And while there may or may not be suppression issues down the road, Your Honor can certainly take those into account when addressing bond. But our position is that officers have a right to ask individuals for their name. He purposely gave a fictitious name because he knew that there were active probation violation warrants for him. We do not believe that he was tied to the stolen car, but the issues are really about his interaction with police officers.
Okay.
Your Honor, just to interject, she was charged. She is charged with theft by receiving under 23 CP 220992, which is in felony first appearance.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. All right, Mr. Ford.
Thank you, Your Honor. But your questions are well taken, Your Honor, because it's our contention that the police officer did not know, first of all, that there was a warrant for Mr. Ford, and also that the car was stolen, Your Honor. That was information that was taken in after the illegal stop. So at this point, Your Honor, we're asking for a signature bond on this case for Mr. Ford, due to the fact that he has 6 years here in the state of Georgia, but he's 60 years old, Your Honor, has a GED, has some career training in social work and child care. He has definitely community support. I do have a telephone number for his aunt, Your Honor, but this case is a very shaky one. I don't believe my client should have anything but a signature bond because the stop was improper. Him giving a false name, Your Honor. If you're not being detained, there's no reason for you to give your name. The officers have to have a probable cause or reasonable suspicion of something before a person has to comply with their orders at this point, Your Honor. So at this point, we're asking for a signature bond, Your Honor, because I believe that there was no indication by that officer that questioned my client that there was a warrant on him or that the car was stolen.
Okay, it's going to be a $500 signature bond through the jail on each count, makes for a total of a $1,500 signature bond through the jail. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Glenn Ford. Thank you.
Hey, let's go to number 13, Mr. Porter. Number 13, Mr. Porter.
Okay.
Is number 1 available, Your Honor? Mr. Camp?
I don't know. Ms. Kim is back.
I'm
there's
here.
Ms. Kim.
That's
There's
my
Ms. Kim.
client,
All right.
Mr. Porter.
And someone sent a message earlier that positions 13, 14, and 15 would need to be say it again.
I thought Kim sent that message, said 13.
Yes. And yet they changed on Mr. Porter.
Okay, so have you interviewed him, Ms. Kim?
Yes, I was able to talk to him.
Okay. Good afternoon. Well, where's Mr. Porter?
How you doing, sir?
Okay, there you go. Good afternoon, Mr. Porter. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Porter, you've been charged in case 23 CR 004939G with battery. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
Second arrest. Last was July 31st in Clayton County. Unlawful conduct during 911 call.
Okay, Ms. Bickerstaff?
Yes, Your Honor. So this incident occurred at 953 Ralph David Abernathy. This is where officers spoke with Miss Tamaya Rogers, and she told officers that the defendant had assaulted her about 30 minutes ago, and she let officers know that they were sitting in the car, and so while in the car, she changed the music, and the defendant became upset with her, and he told her to get out of the car. And so then the defendant opened the door, and then he dragged Miss Rogers out of the car, causing her to fall on the ground and bruise her back. The defendant then began punching Miss Rogers while she was on the ground, and he pulled her clothes or ripping her shirt, exposing her breasts, Your Honor. There was a bystander that witnessed the altercation, Mr. Nary Wood, and he told officers that the defendant dragged Miss Rogers out of the car, and he began pulling and hitting her and pulling her clothes, and he was the one who reported the incident to officers, and officers reviewed surveillance footage which showed the defendant attacking Ms. Rogers on the ground. Your Honor, our office was able to speak to Ms. Rogers. She let us know that they are not in a relationship and they do not live together. She let us know that the defendant was upset with her because she simply touched the aux cord, and she stated that the defendant got out of the car and came over and began pulling and dragging her out of the car. She let us know that she has cuts and bruises on her face and on her back because of this incident. And she also stated that the defendant texted her and stated that you're done, Your Honor. She let us know that she wants him to stay away from her address. I'll put that address in the chat for the litigation manager, Your Honor. So given all of these reasons, the state's recommendation is a $5,000 surety bond. We're asking for no further contact with Ms. Rogers, to stay away from her address, which I'll put in the chat, as well as no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond. And we're also asking for a one-day anger awareness course. And I believe Ms. Rogers is on Zoom, so I would like to sound for her.
Present and would like to address the court. Now is your opportunity to do so. You have to unmute yourself, ma'am.
Okay, hello, Judge, Mr.
Yes.
Judge.
Yes, good afternoon. Hold on, Ms. Rogers. Can you raise your right hand for me? The other one? Do you swear from the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you can put your hand down. What would you like to tell the court?
I'm sorry. I wasn't there for the first portion of what she said, but I would like to add that once I left the hospital, I do have a back sprain.
Okay, and you would like to have no further contact with Mr. Porter?
Correct.
Okay, and anything else you want to tell me, ma'am?
No, sir. She summed it up.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Rogers. We appreciate you being here.
Thank
Ms.
you.
Kim? You're
Yes,
welcome.
Your Honor, my client, Mr. Porter, is 22 years old, and Your Honor, he denies the allegation. He was not a first aggressor. It was Ms. Tamaya Rogers who attacked him first, who was beating him up. But that will be something that we'll discuss later at the trial. But Your Honor, we have no objection to stay away and no further contact with Ms. Tamaya Rogers. My client has been here in Georgia for all his life. He was born in Piedmont Hospital, and he does have a job. He went to Albany State University for about a year, and while because of COVID, he was taking some time off from his college, and he's been doing modeling job. However, he's still qualified for public defender services since his modeling job does not make a lot of income as of now. We would like to request for his signature on bond, since this is his first any kind of violence offense in his history, Your Honor. Thank you.
signature bond through pretrial per the judge, 1-day anger awareness, no further contact with Ms. Rogers, stay away from her residential address, no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond.
How much?
$5,000 signature through pretrial per me.
Thank you.
All right, good
Your
luck to
Honor.
you all. Yes.
Just quickly to go back to position 9 with Mr. Maycock. Miss Maycock, she chatted me and she asked for a police escort so he could get his belongings. So if we could put that on the order.
Okay, that's fine with me. Did you get that, Ms. Lewis, for position number 9?
Yes.
I'm sorry, did you respond, Ms. Lewis?
Yeah, y'all didn't have a stay away. So you gotta stay away now. It was sort of no further violent contact. That's what I thought.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
I had no further violent contact in the 1-day anger management class. Now y'all want to change it to stay away?
No changes.
Okay.
So, thank you.
Oh, Your Honor, Mr. Maycock is actually my client.
We didn't make any changes on it, Ms. Kim.
Okay. All righty. Thank you.
So that we clarify, Judge, you still want one-time escort?
No,
Okay.
just leave it as it was. Apparently it won't be necessary, so.
Yes, sorry for the confusion, y'all. Sorry.
You're fine. That's all right, Ms. Bickerstaff. All right, who do we have next?
Position number 18, Mr. Thomas.
Good afternoon, Mr. Thomas. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video? You're muted, courtroom 2.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Thomas, you've been charged in case 23 CR 004989D with battery family violence. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
6 total. Last arrest was in June for DUI. 03 simple battery.
I'm sorry, when was that simple battery?
2003.
Oh, okay. Ms. Bickerstaff?
Yes, Your Honor. So this incident occurred at 389 Brittany Trail. This is where Miss Aisha Thomas, the defendant's wife whom he lives with, informed officers that she was at the location, the incident location, and the defendant came home intoxicated, and he asked Miss Thomas to have sex with him. And when she refused, she replied that she didn't feel like it. The defendant became angry and he began accusing her of talking to other men. And so the defendant then pushed her on the bed and he started punching her, causing a knot on her forehead. And officers also noticed small lacerations on her neck. Ms. Thomas told officers that she hit the defendant to defend herself. We were able to speak to Ms. Thomas today. She let us know that they've been together for 20 years. They've been married for about 8 years and they have 3 children together, and they live together at the incident location. She let us know that they do not have a domestic violence history and she doesn't fear the defendant, Your Honor, and that she would like no further violent contact. However, Your Honor, the state wants to make sure there's been an adequate cooling off period between the two. So the state's recommendation is a $3,000 surety bond. We're asking for a 1-day anger awareness course, no further contact with Ms. Thomas, to stay away from 389 Brittany Trail, Your Honor, as well as no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond. And if Ms. Thomas is on Zoom, I'd like to sound for her.
See, Ms. Thomas, Ms. Thomas, if you would like to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. I'll need for you to activate your camera, unmute yourself. You'll go ahead and unmute yourself, Ms. Thomas. Okay, raise your right hand for me. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. What would you like to tell the court, Ms. Thomas?
I just would like to say that he's a good father, a good family man. Like I told the lady before that, we've been together 20 years, been married 8 years. We have 3 kids. He helps out. He's not a violent person. And it's just that night, I just wanted him to just cool off. And he
Okay.
has had 2 open heart surgeries, and he receives SSI. And like I said, he's a good family man. He's very good. Can't take that away from him. We have 3 kids. I go to work, and he take the kids to school and stuff.
And
So
this hasn't happened.
I would like for him to come back into the household. Like I said, I just wanted him to cool down.
This hasn't happened before,
No, sir.
and you're not afraid of him?
No, sir, I'm not. Like I said, we've been together 20 years.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate it.
Uh-huh.
All right. So, Ms. Kim, if it's okay with you, it's going to be a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial per the judge, 1-day anger awareness, no further violent contact with Ms. Thomas, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Does that suit you, Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Good luck to you both. Yes, Mrs. Thomas.
Yes, I have a question. So after this, what do we do? You giving him a signature bond? Do that mean that he signed his own bond?
That's correct, Ms. Thomas.
Okay, great. And also he can come back into the household since he
Yes.
don't cool off? Thank you
Yes.
so much. Thank you.
Okay. You're welcome, Ms. Thomas. Good luck to you all.
I'm sorry, Judge, can you repeat the bond amount again? I'm sorry.
$3,000 signature bond through pretrial per the judge, 1-day anger awareness,
Thank
no
you.
further violent contact.
Okay.
Okay? Y'all take care. Who's next?
Position number 16, Mr. Sims.
Let's see. Good afternoon, Mr. Sims. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Mr. Sims, you've been charged in case 23 CR 0049993C with battery against a female who is pregnant and battery family violence. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
No.
Ms. Bickerstaff?
Yes, Your Honor. So this incident occurred yesterday at 3369 Villa Circle. And this is where Miss Shauna Sullivan, the defendant's mom, she told officers that her and her son were in an argument. They had been arguing throughout the day. And she told officers that she told the defendant to leave the house multiple times and he refused to. And then he became very upset. He started yelling at his mom, Miss Sullivan, and his dad, Mr. Sims. And so then the defendant approached his mom and he grabbed her shirt, he ripped it, and then he punched his mom, who is 5 months pregnant, several times. Miss Sullivan, she told officers that she tried to push the defendant away from her, but instead the defendant pushed her. Officers noted that Miss Sullivan had several bruises on her chest and arms from this altercation with her son. And she also let officers know that that day that the defendant took a hammer and he was hitting the walls and the door, a bedroom door in the home, causing holes in their residence, Your Honor. So given all of these reasons, the state's recommendation is a $6,000 surety bond. We're asking for $3,000 on each charge. We're asking for an MHET, 1-day anger awareness course, no further contact with Miss Sullivan, as well as no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond, and to stay away from 3369 Villa Circle. I don't believe Miss Sullivan is on Zoom, but I would still like to sound for her.
Speak with her. Ms. Bickerstaff?
No, we didn't, our office did not get the opportunity to speak with her.
If Ms. Sullivan is on the line and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. Okay, doesn't appear so. Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor. My client is 19 years old. And Your Honor, I called, left a message on his mother's phone number. However, I could not reach her either. He is currently residing with his parents at this point, and he went to up to 10th grade in high school. After that, he's been working on his GED. It is not completed, but it is almost done. He's basically in the process of getting his GED. He's also working part-time as a heat and air conditioning repairer person. He's been doing that for a while. Your Honor, he does not make a lot of money. That's why he's getting help from his parents. So he's qualified for public defender services, and we would like to request for a signature on bond since this is his first offense. Also, Your Honor, his mother, I really, really hope that he can have no further violent contact. However, I could not reach her. Thank you.
So does he have a place to go once he gets out, Ms. Kim?
No, he doesn't.
Okay. Well, you can modify the bond if you choose in the future. I would really like to hear from Ms. Sullivan as far as her wishes in this matter. So if he's not out by the SAP calendar, I suggest that you in some way have someone to either speak with her or have her present herself so that I can speak with her. But at this time, it's going to be a $2,000 good bond per charge, which is a $4,000 good bond. No further contact with Ms. Sullivan. Stay away from the Villa Circle address. He can go back to that address on one occasion with law enforcement to retrieve any belongings that he might have there. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. As I've stated, Ms. Kim, if he's still in at the SAP calendar and you'd like me to modify that bond, then I suggest that you have Ms. Sullivan present.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay,
Thank
good
you.
luck to Mr. Sims.
That's good.
It's number 11, Mr. Patterson.
That's all.
There it is. There you went, dude.
I'm sorry. But Miss Kim, she wasn't doing that. No. That's what she just told me. I sent it to her. She wasn't.
Okay, number 11, Mr. Patterson.
Wait. Are you still there? Go ahead. What did you ask? What?
Okay. I believe I've addressed Mr. Patterson beforehand, but again, good afternoon, Mr. Patterson. Let's see, you've been charged in case 23 CR 004988E with theft by receiving stolen property. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
Second arrest, 2021 shoplifting. Dismissed.
Okay. Ms. Hudak?
Thank you, Your Honor. This incident did occur on July 29th of 2023. Officers were investigating a robbery wherein the victim, who is Nessa Ray Apostol, Apostol, was on MARTA. Her phone was stolen by two unidentified assailants. And Your Honor, I do want to make it clear that this defendant is not charged with the robbery that I'm talking about. The victim advised officers that her phone was located, or phone location was showing 2685 Metropolitan Parkway in Southwest Atlanta. Officers went to that location, which was a mobile phone collecting service. The service was able to remotely unlock the machine and retrieve the phone for the officer. Officers were able to obtain records from the transaction, including payment information to the person who deposited the phone there. It was discovered that the defendant in this case, Mr. Patterson, was the individual who submitted the phone and received the payment. A camera next to the machine also showed the defendant depositing the phone while one of the suspects in the original robbery stands next to him. Your Honor, the state is asking for a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial services, no further contact with Miss Nessa Ray Apostol, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. And we would ask that you sign for the victim.
The court, now is your opportunity. All right, so I think that the bond will be a $2,000 signature bond through the jail. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. No further contact with Ms. Apostol. That'll suit you, Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, good luck to you, Mr. Patterson.
And next we have number one, Mr. Camp.
Okay. Good afternoon, Mr. Camp. It's fine for me if you want to stand.
Absolutely.
Okay, good afternoon, Mr. Camp. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yeah.
Thank you. Mr. Camp, you've been charged in case 23 CR 004982A with theft by taking and possession and use of drug-related objects. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
44 total, 2018 probation, 2017 failure to appear, 2016 probation, 2010 simple battery DV conviction.
Ms. Falk?
Yes, Your Honor, this incident happened on August 14th, 2023 at Publix at 1001 Ponce de Leon Avenue Northeast. Deborah Jefferson, who works at that Publix, stated that her black and gold rollator, which I actually had to look up, it's a type of walker that she uses to help her move. It contained her car keys, her toiletries. It had been stolen from like the foyer area of the Publix where she works. Ms. Jefferson took it upon herself to review the surveillance footage and recognized the defendant as the person who stole her walker. She told the officers that he lived across the street at Briarcliff Summit Apartments. Ms. Jefferson's manager took her over to Briarcliff Summit Apartments. They then spoke to Cornelia Worthington, who's the property manager at that location. They helped her recover the rollator, which was found inside unit 213 of that apartment, which belongs to the defendant's girlfriend. Ms. Jefferson's keys were never recovered. The officer did have an opportunity to view the surveillance footage. It showed the defendant, who was wearing a pair of Puma sweatpants, walk over to the rollator and exit the Publix with it. Ms. Worthington identified Cornelia Worthington, who's the property manager at Briarcliff Summit Apartments, identified the defendant, stated he lived in unit 711. Mr. Foster, the maintenance man at Briarcliff Summit Apartments, also identified the defendant and had a photo of him in possession of the rollator. The officers then made contact with the defendant, who was wearing the same Puma sweatpants he was wearing in the surveillance video, and placed him under arrest. And when they did so, a crack pipe was found on his person. So this defendant, as they've already stated, pretrial has already stated, has 44 cycles. You actually have to go back to 2014 to find 2017 for a conviction. Everything else is FTAs, probation violations. He's been revoked 3 times on probation violations, 6 months, 12 months, and another 7 months out of Henry, Cobb, and Henry. So he has quite a few probation violations and some convictions. He does have some theft convictions, but they're much older. We are asking, based on all of the facts here, for a $1,000 surety bond on the theft by taking, a $250 surety bond on the possession of drug-related objects. Stay away from the Publix. No further contact with Miss Deborah Jefferson. No alcohol, drugs, or weapons, and we are recommending an anti-theft course. That's all for the state. We would like to sound for Miss Deborah Jefferson.
Doesn't appear so. Mr. Ford?
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, my client is 63 years old. He is a high school graduate from College Park High School, 3 years of college. He's retired diesel mechanic, Your Honor, and at this point makes a very minimum monthly wage, where any bond at this time, Your Honor, it would be like a no bond, because he would not be able to afford to bond out. Your Honor, he said this is a mistake. I talked with him. He was trying to help out. He saw someone else trying to take the rollator, and at this point, he thought it'd be better if he would take it and secure it someplace so the owner, who he knew, could retrieve it. Your Honor, he has been in Georgia for over 50 years, and he has a definite community support. As you will note, none of his convictions or even his charges have been violent charges, Your Honor. This is not a person who's a threat to the community, and at this point, and he's not a risk of flight because he's been here for over 50 years, Your Honor. We feel that a signature bond would be appropriate at this time.
You telling me he knew Miss Jefferson?
Your Honor, he knew of the person who had it. Yeah, he's been to that Publix several times. He saw someone else, Your Honor, who was trying to actually take it, so he thought he would secure it. That was the statement. That was some of the things that we spoke about. He said it was just a mistake, a misunderstanding. That's why it was secured at a sister's location.
Miss Jefferson says, according to our victim advocate, she does not know him. She knows of him and recognized him, but does not know him. And secondly, it seems odd that you would walk this across the street rather than to the employee inside the Publix that you're already in with her property.
Yeah. Your Honor, as I mentioned, I did say Mr. Camp did know of the alleged victim in this state, in this matter, even though the solicitor would like to think that there probably was a proper way to do it, what she would have done, what someone else would have done. This is what Mr. Camp felt was the proper thing to do, is to secure it until he can get it to the rightful person. So, Your Honor, we asked for a signature bond at this time.
Okay, and I asked that question because Mr. Ford, I thought it was a little odd, but people do. He
knows of this person.
Well, yeah, but I agree with Ms. Falk also. So that if someone was trying to take something from me, I wish that they would come and just maybe track me down, since you're in the store that I work in. But that's neither here nor there. Look, Mr. Camp, I don't want to keep you in jail over this charge, but at the same time, I don't want you to be back in jail, when you don't show up to a court hearing. So I'm gonna allow you to come back at another time and answer to these charges. But if you don't come back, and we have to put a warrant out for you, then you're not gonna get a signature bond the next time. Just know that, okay? All right, so it's going to be a $500 signature bond through the jail on both charges, makes for a total of $1,000 signature bond through the jail. Stay away from the Publix on Ponce de Leon Avenue. No further contact with, whether you know her or not, Ms. Deborah Jefferson, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. I warn you though, Mr. Camp, you don't come back, you're going to be right back where you are, okay? All right, good luck to you, sir.
Next is position 12, Perez.
Your Honor, I'm so sorry to interrupt you, but I just wanted to let you know that Miss Shauna, the mother of Mr. Sims, is on the Zoom. She would like to talk about his son.
Oh, yeah.
So whenever you are okay,
We already addressed Mr. Sims?
yes, we already did, and I was wondering if.
And they've already, if they can, I'm not gonna address him without him being here. So I'm not sure if they can get him back or not, but
I took him back to housing where he residing.
okay. So this is Mr. Perez?
Yes, it is, sir. Position
Yes.
12.
Good afternoon, Mr. Perez. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we are conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Mr. Perez, you've been charged in case 23 CR 004980G with simple battery. Is there a history?
33 total. 2022 parole violation out of Florida. 2012 robbery, burglary, resisting, hindering conviction. That's it.
Ms. Bickerstaff?
Yes, Your Honor, this incident occurred yesterday.
Your Honor, I sincerely apologize, but I think this is the one that We've been emailing back and forth about MH issue. So may we discuss this at the end? At a breakout room? Your Honor, I apologize.
Can we do position add-on number 1?
Are we?
Yes,
Paperwork?
we are ready to go forward on that, Your Honor. I have forwarded the paperwork to Ms. Lewis. There is an amended, I filed the amended accusation, and there is another amendment that I'm filing now based on our conversations.
Amendment to what now, Ms. Falk?
This is position 1 on the add-on calendar. Mr. William Lee Jones, I changed the charge as requested. I amended the accusation from the DUI to reckless driving.
Got that.
And then I am amending count 3 from no insurance to no proof of insurance, and I'm filing that down right now.
Okay,
Okay,
thank you.
but we are ready to proceed.
So it's going to be a plea to no proof of insurance, possession of an open alcohol container, and reckless driving.
That is correct, Your Honor.
Okay. Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Jones. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. You agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Can you raise your right hand for me? Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you can put your hand down. Thank you, Mr. Jones. Ms. Falk?
Yes, Your Honor. Just to briefly go over the facts of this case. The incident occurred back on, excuse me, just had to pull up the right paperwork. The incident occurred back on in 2020, to be precise, January 16th of 2020. Officers stopped this defendant on Old National Highway at Godby Road in College Park. The defendant had basically failed field sobriety. The officer had smelled the odor of alcohol and marijuana coming from inside the vehicle, and he failed field sobriety. He was then placed under arrest and taken to the jail. An open bottle of Hennessy was found in the front seat of the vehicle, and when they called the insurance company identified as the insurer for the vehicle, they showed no active policy, and his vehicle was impounded and taken into custody at that time. I just want to verify with Mr. Arrington that the defendant is no longer the owner of that 1988 Cadillac DeVille, because we are showing when they provided proof of insurance, it's for a 2023 vehicle. The state's recommendation based on all of this is reducing the DUI to a reckless driving, open container in no proof of insurance, as we have been provided with an updated insurance card. It would, on the reckless, it would be 12 months with 48 hours in jail, credit for time served, release time served, balance probated, a $500 fine, 40 hours community service, and ADET. On the open container, $200 fine concurrent with count 1. On count 3, the no insurance, a $350 fine concurrent with count 1. And that's the state's recommendation. And the count 3 is the no proof of insurance. He does need to sign up for probation, so we need to make sure he completes the probation intake sheet.
Judge, we would just ask that the court accept a negotiated plea in this matter, so that we can close this matter out, and he will certainly get signed up for probation.
Okay. Mr. Jones, it's my understanding that in case 20 CR 002404Y, you wish to plead guilty to no proof of insurance, possession of open alcohol container, and reckless driving. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you under the influence of any drugs or alcohol at the present time?
No, sir.
You've been represented by counsel. Are you satisfied with his representation?
Yes, sir.
You understand that you have a right to a trial by jury on these charges, and that by pleading guilty to them, you're giving up your right to a trial by jury?
Yes, sir.
Has anyone forced or coerced you to plead guilty?
No, sir.
Okay, I'll accept the plea as negotiated, Mr. Jones. Good luck to you, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Before you leave, Mr. Arrington, do you have the probation paperwork signed up for probation? Intake sheet.
No, I do not. If that was sent in the email, I must have missed it. I only printed out the plea paperwork, but I can certainly have it in no later than 5 p.m. tomorrow by close of business tomorrow.
Probation was on the Zoom link, so I don't see them at this point. The form needs to be completed and sent to me as soon as possible. They can go on and get the information. You have the form sent to them already, Ms. Falk?
Your Honor, Ms. Lewis, I just requested the form from you and I can forward it over to the jail if you have it.
Yes, I'll find one.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Good luck to you all.
Thank you, Your Honor. That's all that I have. May I be excused?
Yes, have a good rest of your day. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so do we have anyone else in courtroom 2 that we can, I know we have 2 that we need to go into a breakout room for.
No, the only person I have remaining in courtroom 2 is Perez. You don't.
Okay. All right, so I know that we need a breakout room for Mr. Perez. We need a breakout room for position number 20. Also, I was told Wiggins. Let's see. Are we gonna have, what's happening with position 2, Patricia Douglas?
She was a medical reset.
Okay, so that's gonna be reset to 8/16. What about position 6, Landon Johnson?
He was a medical reset. He's in medical as well, sir.
Okay, reset for tomorrow, 8/16.
Position 14 was a 2, 6, and 14 are medical reset.
2, 6, and 14. Okay. What about position 17?
She was transported to the ACDC City Jail.
Okay, so is she gonna be on today?
I doubt it. There's no officer present.
All right, so we have to reset her till 8/16.
We're
We're gonna speak on position 20, Mr. Wiggins. We've already done Mr. Jones. Before I go, I take it that you cannot get Ms. Kim. Ms. Kim, are you with me?
Yes, yes, I am with you, Your Honor.
Who did we have on the line that wanted to speak? Was that the Sims case?
Yes, yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
Miss
and
Jonah is his mother.
Okay. I wish she had been on earlier. They can't get him back at the present time. I understand the issues at the jail, so you'll have to inform her of what the court's ruling was in this matter, as I'm not going to go forward without Mr. Sims being here for you to at least make him understand if I did make a modification, okay?
Okay.
So, all right, so who needs to be in the breakout rooms?
Mr. Perez.
Oh, no, he's not gonna go in there with us, is he?
No.
Okay, so we need the Perez case and we also need position 20. So Ms. Bickerstaff, Ms. Falk, Ms. Kim, anyone else? Of course, Ms. Lewis. So if you can place us into a breakout room, please.
Ms. Posey, are you there? Are you using Chandler's iPhone?
Oh, so yes.
Hold on. Yes.
Okay, so I just wanted to let you know, I'm not sure if you caught it, but his case is going to be medically reset for tomorrow. That just means that for whatever reason, they can't get him into the courtroom to actually have the case or to have his attorneys talk to him. So it's going to be, I'm not aware of that information, but I understand the concerns. And I can tell you that Miss Amon Cheney will probably be reaching out to you. But I just wanted to let you know because that's what I heard, okay?
Okay.
Okay, all right, take care. Thank you for coming, Ms. Posey, but I'll see you tomorrow.
Okay. Hello.
How do I unmute this?
Yes, Mr. Perez. I've had the opportunity to discuss your case with your lawyer and Ms. Bickerstaff. The bond is going to be $1,000 surety bond. No further contact with the Mr. Lambacker. Stay away from the Rocksteady on Marietta Street. You're going to get a referral to our mental health court, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, sir. You're on, I can't hear you, Mr. Perez, because they have you on mute.
Mr. Perez, I strongly recommend you not to speak anything. It will be used against you, so please.
Okay, and Miss Kim, if you have any questions, Miss Kim will talk to you after court today, okay?
Sure, thank you.
Courtroom 2, I think that completes the calendar for today. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. See you next time. Thank you.
Take care.
All right. And whenever you're ready, Ms. Lewis.
We'll start with the add-on counter. That was a plea. Next, state all-purpose counter. I'm sorry. The state expedited accusation counter, position number 1, was a total of $1,000 SOB through the jail. We set further notice. Position number 2 is going to be set to the SEA counter for tomorrow, August the 16th. Position number 3 was a total of $1,000 surety. Cases reset for SAP August the 29th. Position number 4 was a total of a $1,500 SOB through the jail. We set further notice. Position number 5 is a $2,000 SOB through pretrial per judge. We set further notice. Position number 6 is set for the SEA counter tomorrow, August the 16th. Position number 7 is a $2,000 surety bond. We set for SAP August the 29th. Position number 8 is a $2,000 SOB through pretrial per judge. We set further notice. Position number 9 is a $2,000 SOB through pretrial per judge. We set further notice. Position number 10 is a total of a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial. We set notice.
Hey, what was the contact for number 9?
Number 9, let me go back. 7, 8, 9. Number 9, I have no further violent contact with the victim in a 1-day anger awareness class through pretrial.
That's all. Thank you.
Position, where was I now at Tucson? I think number 11. Was that correct?
Correct.
Okay. Position number 11 is a $2,000 signature bond through the jail. We set further notice. Position number 12 is a $1,000 surety. We set for SAP August the 29th. Position number 13 is a $5,000 signature bond through pretrial per judge. We set further notice. Position number 14 is we set tomorrow for SEA counter for August the 16th. Position number 15, the same announcement. We set for the SEA counter tomorrow for August the 16th. Position number 16 is a total of a $4,000 surety bond. We set for SAP August the 29th. Position number 17 is reset for the SEA counter for tomorrow, August the 16th. Position number 18 is a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial per judge. We set further notice. Position number 19 is a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial per judge. We set further notice. Position number 20 is going to be set for the SEA counter for tomorrow, August the 16th. Is that correct? Any corrections or comments? Everybody good?
All right.
Judge, I get them over?
Okay, I'll get them signed as soon as you get them over, y'all. Have a good rest of your day.
Thank you.
Your Honor.
All right.
Bye-bye.
See you next time.
Thank you, Judge. Good evening.
Bye-bye.
Good evening. Thank you. Yeah, it's still raining down here, Mr. Howard.
Okay.